Welcome, Craig.
And thank you. Good morning, all, again.
Okay, so you're spread out across 3 funds. We're gonna see the same pieces that we're seeing here in general. We're also going to see on our water and our sewer funds. Craig's department, since they do IT for everybody, except the police department, they have a split of 60, 30, 10. So 60% is the general fund, 30% is water, and then 10% is the sewer fund. So for your regular personnel lines, it increased a bit because of contractual step increase for your right hand this coming year, as well as CSEA and management increases. We did add an overtime line for this year to the 1650 accounts for Christina to do meetings. Is that correct, Craig?
Meetings and foils, correct.
Okay. The longevity line, that is for just Craig at this point. We have a line in for sick pay incentive in lieu of vacation. And then this line is our PEG expenditure line. So Craig has budgeted $39,250. There's an offsetting revenue that we'll see later on down the pages that feeds any PEG expenditure, which is for our public TV. We reduced your computer line a little bit this year in accordance with your needs. Your contractual line is holding steady, same as 2020. We did increase the telephone internet line for the increased Verizon line for 16 Croton for the backup.
Right, the increased Verizon line and the boost in speed for the operations center.
Perfect.
And so that means that the next time Optimum fails in a big way, we won't lose our ability to have internet for the village, right?
Hopefully not, unless a pole comes down and takes all the cable with it.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for catastrophizing that idea. But you mentioned PEG monies, and you've got 36,500 in here. Is that what you're anticipating for revenue for 2021, or is that what the whole fund is right now?
This is the expenditure side, but there is a matching revenue side that washes this out, so it's a net zero impact to the budget overall.
Do you know what's in the PEG fund right now? I guess that's really my question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the revenue right now.
I'll pay notification. I thought I missed the window.
No, this year we started, this department, we ended up starting at expenditures instead of revenues, so that's my fault. I keep changing up the the method. So for PEG monies for 2020, we actually received 73,808. And that's based on the 2 PEG agreements that we have with the Optimum, Cablevision, I'm not quite sure what they're called, either or, and then Verizon. So we get 2 different pieces in. The PEG, I can go look it up, but I believe it's a little over 100,000 in PEG reserves at this point.
I think that's correct.
Which includes the 2020 revenue that you have here, the 7.
Not yet, because any revenue over expenditure will then get added to our reserve balance for year end. So right now we're at 73,808.55 for revenue, but we are at Did I pass it? No. 203. We're only at 10,853.57 for expenditure, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because we're not doing too many physical meetings. So you're not really purchasing too much equipment.
But the equipment we've been purchasing for PEG right now has been a lot for the hybrid meetings we've been putting together.
Right.
All those, the TVs, the laptops, we use 4 laptops for the hybrid meetings. So we've been purchasing those out of our PEG funds, as well as all the cabling and the switches and that sort of thing.
So the PEG money, the PEG funds, those can be, the big use for them that I'm hoping will happen in the 2021 budget is, and you and I had this conversation, Craig, about how to reconfigure the board meeting room.
Absolutely. Mhm.
It can be, you know, someday when the hybrid meetings are somewhat more stably happening, that maybe you can shift the room 90 degrees, knock out the back 2 rooms to make it a bigger room. And all of that could be used. I mean, because it sounds like you have like $180,000 in PEG money just sitting there waiting to be spent.
We can use PEG money for all of that and anything else.
All new furniture in that room,
It's considered a TV studio.
monitors on the wall, new microphones, new cameras, all that. You guys can just spend the money. We'll because it's going to come back in again. This is a constantly renewing fund of whatever it is. This last year was $78,000. Like, it's just, we haven't utilized a lot of it. Obviously, we're certainly not utilizing it at the same rate that it's come in, and that's great because now we have it to be able to do a big project that won't have to drain the general fund to be able to accomplish it, even though we're doing a lot of changes to the layout of 16 Croton. The structural changes and the equipment and the furniture in the board meeting room can all come out of PEG money instead of taxpayer.
Absolutely.
Great.
Perfect. So on to page 2, general fund piece for materials and supplies. Consulting services, Craig, that includes
This includes my network consultants, my wiring consultants, telephone consultants, all the consultants we use.
right, gotcha. And then you have our most important computer software line, so that keeps us safe.
Right, yes. All the antivirus software, the VPN software, Microsoft Office, everything like that. Primarily, it's the Symantec and the Symantec servers, the software for the servers and all the locations. The costs just keep on going up with that,
Yeah,
as well as all the remote software we're using for the logmeins and everything.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
While you mention all of our protective stuff, I get more garbage, scandalous spam on my Village email than my Gmail or my Yahoo that I have on my personal stuff. Why is that? I mean,
I think they aim towards public emails, but believe it or not, I just got a new update on Outlook that I can install on your computer. And in fact, I've been doing everybody's computers the last week or so. And what it's doing is it's blocking the emails coming in from the countries that are most hitting us, Russia, Albania, Czechoslovakia. So this actually blocks the international email domains. And I think we should see a decreased level in spam. I know I have on my personal PC, it's gone down dramatically. I just have to get to everybody else to do this now.
well, I mean, I have my Village laptop here, but then I also get my emails on my phones and stuff too. Like, you can access email from anywhere. This is the protection is on the piece of hardware, not on the account.
No, it's on the actual account in Exchange, and it will trickle down to all devices.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't need me to bring in my little laptop to do that because you have
No,
access to my
no,
account anytime you want it.
But this is a major problem. They hit these public forums more often than anybody else. And I have the spam filter. We have a Barracuda spam filter online. That's an actual hardware device. I have it cranked up pretty high. And if I crank it up any higher, I'm afraid it's going to start blocking real mail. And the thing is that we have to get used to actually looking into our junk mail folder occasionally, because it may block real mail as well.
Mm.
So just keep an eye on in your junk mail occasionally.
Okay, thanks.
But I can show you statistics. I don't have them in front of me. We probably process close to 500,000 pieces of mail a day, and most of them are spam. We get an incredible amount of mail.
So on page 3, it's a reflection of what we saw on page 1 and 2, minus the PEG monies, because those are just a general fund revenue and expenditure. So we have a matching computer line, contractual line, telephone and internet, materials and supplies. Here's a piece for consulting services, which I believe for the computer software, it does have an amount that's specific to water itself. Is that correct, Craig?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's why that's not at a 60% mark. And then on page 4, it's the sewer fund, which again matches general and water with a 10% offset for expenses. And that wraps it up because Craig only has 2 revenues, which we already spoke of, which was the PEG access fees that come in. And the other side of it is the IMA with the town. So that's the IT IMA amount that comes in. Any questions?
I do. Thanks, Craig. So let me ask you this, because with all the technology and everything else that we have, you know, one of the things that, you know, we've been doing is obviously Zoom, and I think throughout the whole village. Is this something that you proceed to have this as a constant expense even after this whole pandemic hopefully will end soon? Is it something that I guess will be more like given to anybody here? Is it something that we should be keeping this in mind going forward in the future of village meetings, I guess?
You mean the hybrid type meetings we're doing?
Correct.
Yeah. I think this pandemic's going to be with us for a while. And even though we're doing these hybrid meetings, I think people are, they just don't want to come out. That's why we're seeing no one in the audience for these meetings. Will it open up a little bit? I hope so. There's really not that much of more of an expense going into these hybrids, rather than except for some overtime. I mean, the equipment's all paid for already, and now we just have some overtime for which I use Christina for setting up and breaking down these things. So I think yeah, we can do these as long as we have to do them.
Okay. No, that's you know, on my end, it's definitely obviously helpful to have the ability to do all this stuff. Now, in regards to the Zooms, how many Zooms accounts do we have for the village? Do we have only one? Or how does it work?
We have one main Zoom account, yes. And that has, I think, 10 or 12 listed users in there. And we use regular meetings and these webinars. We also pay for extra cloud storage space. For instance, the meeting we're doing today is going to take up a tremendous amount of space on the cloud storage.
Wonder why? Why is that?
Why? And what I also do is I also record these meetings locally. For instance, I'm recording this meeting right now on this PC, only as a backup. Because even though we're getting we're using the cloud situation more and more, if the internet goes down, you know, I like to have a backup for everything. And the internet could go down at any time.
Yeah. So, and that goes to my next question. So I guess this is not really relevant to a budget, but maybe Maddie or Karen can help me, or even Craig can help me with this. So again, going back to the landlord tenants, the Zoom meetings that we've been going through is actually not being through a Zoom account by the village. Is some, you know, the chairman of the committee has been actually sharing her own Zoom account. So if we can talk to her and kind of provide her access so she can start using a village Zoom account, I think will be helpful. And I think I'm not sure how's it working for the other committees. I mean, I'm the liaison for the HPC, and I know Jaime has been very helpful sending links to the HPC members and setting that up. But you know, I'm sure it's the same way for the planning and zoning board. I'm sure it's the same for the environment part of it and the parks and recreations, I'm assuming. But you know, if we can talk to Julie and kind of give her access to our village account, I think will be helpful as well.
We can certainly do that. And even if we had to purchase a more user base, we can certainly do that. It's not that expensive. We can certainly expand what we have. Jaime is actually one of the users on our Zoom account. And we could always expand on it. Like I said, it's not really that expensive. And I've actually been charging it off to PEG because it's part of the TV system. We broadcast this stuff.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, I mean, it'd be very helpful. That's all I have. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Seems nothing crazy, but thank you.
Manny, I'm so glad you brought that to our attention. Absolutely, any village-appointed committee should be, their Zoom meeting should be through a village account. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if anybody has any more questions for Craig. Craig, is there anything else that you wanted to tell us about?
No, I think we're good. We have new firewalls online here. And we did have two penetration tests done this past year, and we passed both tests. One was by the Board of Health at the water treatment plant, and the other was from a private corporation. And we're in good shape. I mean, we're as best as we can. You know, if someone really wants to do some damage, they could. But we're good. We have all our files are backed up several different ways, and now that we're moving more into a cloud situation, for instance, with Edmunds and hopefully with the building department, it's less than we have to worry about here on site.
That's great. Well, Craig, thank you. Thank you to you and Christine for working so hard to help make sure that everybody was able to work remotely during this really challenging year. I know that was a big unanticipated undertaking when the whole world was terrified and shutting down and nobody knew anything that was going on. We still needed you to allow the village to keep operating. So thanks so much for that.
Very welcome.
Karen, is there anything else we need to know? Bob's good. He gave us a thumbs up. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we let Craig go on with his day and we go on to lunch?
Thank you very much, Craig, and thank you to you and Christina for all of your effort to keep us connected and online. And it's not always as good as being in the same room together, but it does have its advantages, and I know it's taken a lot of effort on your part. So thank you so much, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Too.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you. You're welcome.